I hope I can start. Good evening to all. I wanted to start at 8, but there was some technical issues. So Let me start off with an introduction. So, I am Gokul. I am an IAS officer of 2021 batch. I've been working for like 4 years now. So, I wrote my exam in 2020. So, that was my second attempt. I gave my first attempt in 2019, and right now, I am posted in Tamil Nadu cadre, working as an additional collector. That is, we call it additional collector here, but in some places it's called VO, Zilla Parishad, Chief Development Officer, etc. So that is about myself. Basically, to tell my story of my UPSC journey, uh, it's very different from what you would generally hear. This was not my childhood dream. That was nothing like that. This is like a this happened as a like sudden turn of events, basically. So I was not thinking about civil service or anything related during my college, even during my college. I did my UG and PG in English literature, and during that time I was basically hoping to get into a research career, right? I cleared my UGC NET and JRF in my PG first semester. So with that fellowship, I was hoping to go into PhD. And at that point of time, something happened that changed my whole outlook on life. Like this was 2017-18 when I was doing my PG. Then what happened was this. I come from Kerala basically. My native place is Trivandrum. So what happened was during 2018 the Kerala flood happened. At least some of you might have heard of it. Some of you might have read about it also. This is some 480 people died in that flood. So what happened was the whole of the state was flooded except for some parts, including my district. So all of us, the whoever was capable, we went into volunteering. So at that time, I was already associated with several NGOs, and so I went into volunteering. But when we went into volunteering, I don't know how, but within 2 3 days, I was part of a core team that was controlling all the volunteering activity in the state. Uh, uh, like uh, we were doing a lot of coordination. We were doing a lot of that kind of work. That was an 8 member team, and at that time, there was one young IAS officer in Trivandrum who was a district collector of the Trivandrum district then. So what happened? She is a very young and dynamic officer, and she was the one person who was responsible for this whole idea of using the youth force of the state to mitigate all the flood disaster. So we came in contact with her. She was basically leading us. She was in the field like 24 by 7. She all through that all that one whole week, she didn't even go home. That kind of commitment she showed. Plus, she was a very innovative officer. So on my part, I did a lot of activities where it was a very gratifying period because at other part the whole of the rest of the state was actually flooded, and I am very happy to say because of our intervention, the intervention of the volunteers, like thousands of lives were saved. This hit home because we interfered at the right time. Even lives of my own batchmates from my own college got saved. So that was such an experience, such a life changing experience. And I also got to see a lot of officers, IAS officers, working from close quarters. And I was thinking, see, this is such a wonderful thing that you can do. If you come into this kind of a service, you can do a lot of activities. You can do a lot of good for the people. So that is when I started thinking about this particular service, because I was thinking about a research career, but then I was also starting to feel that that kind of career will be a little. I have nothing against teaching. I have nothing against research, but then that I thought that kind of career will be a little kind of slow paced for me. Like I said, I was already working with a lot of NGOs. I liked interacting with people. I liked making actual change happen in the lives of the people. So I thought, okay, let us give this a try, right? uh, but then one more thing that was already happening in my life, like I was from a very young age, I was a debater and public speaker. I used to do professional debating in college. Like I used to even participate in the primetime shows of these, including like very popular TV channels like NDTV and all. I used to do primetime shows once in a while. Like I was debating for money basically. I was a professional debater. So starting from 2014, as part of my profession, I had to read at least 2 3 newspapers daily. And also, one of my mentors suggested that for a good debating career, it is you should read all the NCRT textbooks, because that would give you a lot of content. That would give you a lot of uh, insights, and that would give you a lot of material to become a good debater. So by 2018, I had already gone through all the NCRT textbooks. I was already reading I mean, at least 2 newspapers daily for 4 years. And when I looked at UPSC as an option, it came to me as a realization that, ठीक है, you are doing almost all the things that is required already. Now all that you have to do is prepare for the optional and get a sense of how this exam is to be written. So I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. So thinking that way, I decided to, this is how I came to the exam. Now, to talk about my own journey, again, it's strange. It's not a typical journey as such, because I decided to give my exam in 2018, around middle of 2018. I was doing my PhD then. I mean, sorry, I was doing my PG then. So in the 2019 session of the exam, I just simply applied. I knew that I was not going to crack the exam or anything, but I just applied. ठीक है, I thought, let's give it a try. I was sure I will fail, but then I thought that would motivate me to give a proper attempt in the next go. इसीलिए I applied, and my prelims came in the middle of my PG final exam. So what happened? I gave my prelims, and I was so sure that I will not qualify that I didn't even check the answer key. I gave my prelims, I left it at that, I went and joined University of Hyderabad as a PhD scholar. Then after some time, the prelims. After some time, my uh, prelims results came, but I was very sure that I was not going to crack prelims. I didn't check, right? So after 2 days, one of my friends called me and told me, uh, "Bro, you just check the result." I said, "There is no need. Why should I check? Okay, I am not going to crack. I am so sure I am not going to crack. I am not going to check also." But he said, "Please, you just check. I think I found your name." I said, "No way. Impossible, because I didn't study, I didn't do any proper preparation. How am I going to crack?" But he said, "Ki, just for me, you just check." And then I went and checked, and my name was there. I was like totally lost, totally lost. ठीक है, I didn't know what to do, because now you have cracked this prelims. Now the question was to be or not to be, to write mains or not to write mains, because mains, though I am totally unprepared, I don't even know how mains is structured. I am so new to the whole exam setup, right? Uh, but if I don't write, what will people say? People say he's got prelims, he's not writing mains. This is nothing but ahankar. It is, there is no other word, because thousands of people are trying so hard, they're not cracking. He has cracked the exam, he's not writing. That is uh, either ahankar or stupidity. uh, it was such a pressure, like high pressure situation. Though I thought and thought and thought, I spent almost 2 days thinking. Then I talked to one of my mentors. He said, "You just give the mains. You have 2 months. You have 65 days. In 65 days, you prepare as much as you can, and you give exam." So I thought, okay, ठीक let's just do it. Anyway, you are here. Even if you are not getting mains this time, it will be good practice for next time. So I started preparing. I started and I prepared like anything. I prepared for hours. Like, of course, I couldn't prepare for 16, 17 hours or anything. I don't even know how people prepare for that long. I prepared for 9, 10 hours at that point of time. And I prepared in such a way that smoke started coming out of my head. Uh, and I gave my all in for the 2 months, like 60 days. And I gave my means. Again, surprising myself, I cracked. Now, once I cracked mains, interview, I was not very afraid of the interview, because I like I said, I already was a public speaker. I was very confident of facing the interview board. In fact, I think that interview is one of the most chill phases of the whole preparation. So I gave my interview, and finally, when the result came, I was in the list. I got a lower rank, but I was in the list. So I got into uh, uh, the Ministry of Defense, Indian Defense Account Service. So उसके बाद what happened? Lockdown happened. So that was a COVID time. I worked in the Ministry of Defense for like 2 3 months, and then the first wave of COVID came, lockdown came, and I used the lockdown period, and now I had a solid understanding of what to do. I had a good strategy also. So I sat down and prepared, and then I gave my second attempt. Second attempt was a very proper attempt, and I cracked the exam, and I got into IAS. So that is my UPSC journey. Then, of course, I went to Labasna. I got the training. I was posted to Tamil Nadu cadre. I served as assistant collector in a district named Tirunelveli. I did my SDM posting, and I am right now doing my additional collector posting. So that is my story. That is my journey. Now, to talk about a strategy, I actually don't have a strategy to tell you. And I am not telling you any strategy because, see, strategy, I believe, is a personal thing. My strategy is not going to work for you. And if somebody told me their strategy, that will not work for me because everybody is different. Okay? So, for some people, uh, they can study, it is enough for them to study for 5 hours per day, but for some other people they might require 10 hours. I'll tell you an example. For me to read the Hindu newspaper, then also now also, it takes me maximum 45 to 50 minutes. From the starting it is like that. Like, when I was preparing, I could read the newspaper in 45 minutes or 50 minutes, maximum 50-55 minutes, nothing more than that. But I know other people for whom reading Hindu used to take 2 hours or more, right? So I cannot tell you that, okay, uh, reading Hindu, you should have a strategy where you should finish Hindu under 1 hour because it is different for different people, right? Another thing, for me, I loved when I was studying, I really loved the subjects like history, for example. I loved all parts of history, ancient history, medieval history, modern history. So I took very less time to study that. But I struggled with geography. So I took more time to study geography. Now, for some other person, geography might be very interesting. For that person, my strategy will not apply. So, what I am trying to say is there is trust me, if somebody says that this is their strategy and if you are following that strategy, you will crack the exam. There is no such thing. Each individual person should develop their own strategy. They should develop their own writing style. They should develop their own time management. Like I said, people keep saying that, like, if this what I am saying will be very different from what all you people have heard before. Many people say that they have studied for 16 hours, 17 hours. I don't even know how can they study because totally one day is like 24 hours. For good quality studies, you should sleep minimum 6.5 hours. Now, for your meals, this, that, you should leave out 1.5, 2 hours. And even if you are studying for UPSC, you should have a good hygiene. So, for all your hygiene practices, you must leave out another 1 hour. Okay, that's already 9 to 10 hours. Remaining is 14 hours. And in that 14 hours, I can understand you studying 10. I mean, this is again personal story. I can understand that I can study 10, 11, 12 hours. But I don't know how people study 17, 18 hours. I cannot. If I studied that like that, I will go mad, right? But some people can do it. That is what I am saying. Don't go by what people might say. And also, different people have different levels of understanding. Some people grasp concepts very quickly. For those people, for such people, they can study 6, 7 hours and it should be good. But some people will take more time to understand concepts. Uh, so for such people, um, like they might take more time. So amount of time, strategy, these are, I believe, these are all personal matters. These are all things that you should develop on your own. And one more thing I want to tell all of you, many of you have this doubt. Uh, it is important to have a personal strategy. That is very important. Your study should not be half-hearted. It is very important to have a personal strategy, but that strategy should be very personal. It should not be the like you cannot copy the strategy from somebody else. Copying does not work. So that is one thing. Now, I'll also talk about my optionals. Uh, like my optionals was basically my mother tongue, which is Malayalam literature. Uh, Now, many of you will have a doubt key how to choose the optional, what optional is best, what optional is not that good. Uh, these things change from time to time. My During my time, like some optionals were like very high scoring, like for example, sociology. Now, what is the situation? I also don't know because I also don't. Uh, uh, Now, though, I don't get that kind of time to follow the exam pattern and all, right? So, but during my time, sociology was a high scoring subject. Now things might have changed, but I think even now sociology is a high scoring subject, right? So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, uh, if you are looking at an optional, there are few things that I suggest you should look at. Number one is, of course, the kind of scores that optional have got in the recent past. Like I said, sociology is a very stable optional. Uh, Even if at an average you will be getting like 275, 280 generally, or at least you will not be getting below 260, and you high scores will be like 314, 315, 320. So that is a good optional. But there are other optionals like public administration and see, people who took pubad don't despair. But thing is, generally, in pubad, what happens is I have seen pubad scores. Some people get to 320, 330, but some people also get 190 essay. So that is, in my opinion, not a good optional because your average mean marks is not stable. Okay, you should try to choose an optional that has a stable mean average. And there are some optionals like, for example, maths. Uh, some people who are like genius level people, they will score very high, very very high. They will score above 400 even, but you cannot score that kind of mark just because you are a maths graduate. Same case with many of the science optionals like physics, etc. Just because you are a physics graduate, you cannot score in the 300s or 400s. In fact, you will struggle. But if you are a genius level person, If you are coming out of IIT and you have scored very well, then go with it, no issues. But don't go with a physics optional or a maths optional or a chemistry optional uh, just because you have a graduation in that subject. Uh, because again, there also, if you look at the mean average, it is not very stable, right? Then there is a third criteria. I would say it's important. Uh, you should have optional coaching infrastructure, so to speak. There are some optionals where uh, adequate coaching is not available. Sometimes test series is not available. Again, for example, in my time, maths and all didn't have that kind of thing. Even now, I think certain optionals like English literature, there is not enough people who are doing coaching, and there is not enough test series being available. What happens in such cases is that when you don't have a proper test series for the optional subject, you don't have a standard to compare against, right? You don't know the how you are being marked. You don't know your competition. So be very careful when you are choosing such optionals. Uh, then the fourth and the most important criteria is um, whether you love this particular subject. Don't choose a subject just because it has got good marks, it has got good averages, or last few years it is scoring well. I tell you this because all other subjects uh, you have to learn anyway, right? But this is the one subject where you have a choice. So I will say exercise that choice, effectively. Other subjects, though, you must learn. There is no other option. Here, though, you can choose a subject that you love. Then, at least this part of the study you can enjoy. For that, one of the reasons for my choice was that only. Like I genuinely enjoyed Malayalam literature, so I thought, okay, at least this I can learn in a relaxed manner, and that helped also. Like when you are very tired after learning all the other subjects, this can be a relaxed learning experience. So that is one thing you can look at. So that is, you will have learned, like heard a lot of toppers talking about optionals and things like that. So that is my 2 cents about say optionals. Now, another thing all of you have doubts about is your uh, current affairs. How to learn your current affairs. The most important thing here, according to me, is pick one source. Like, don't go all over the place. If you find that, like, some things you should do, like, you should read a newspaper. Now, many of you will ask which newspaper is Hindu the best newspaper, things like that. I will tell you my opinion, there is no such thing. Like, there is nothing that makes Hindu very special or anything. I used to read two newspapers, Hindu and Times of India, because these used to balance each other out. Hindu is a, very honestly speaking, Hindu has its own political leanings, right? So when you are reading the newspaper, also do not go with the politics of the newspaper. Read the newspaper uh, and form your own opinion. To form your own opinion, always read a second newspaper, because if you are reading Hindu, which has a certain political leaning, Now read Times of India also, which has a different political, opposite political leaning. So you will have a neutral opinion and never be critical in a political way. Constructive criticism is always appreciated by the UPSC, but uh, don't use political criticism. Basically, don't be a wokist. That is what I would say. Don't act like, I mean, you are not an activist. You are an aspirant, not an activist. So always remember that when you are drafting your answers and all. Then one more thing is, yeah, always try to have two newspapers as sources of your current affairs. Then choose one source, like um, some magazine, like maybe Civil Service Times or some magazine. One magazine you choose and stick to it, and also choose one current affairs compilation that you are comfortable with. There are so many compilations brought out by so many academies. Choose your style and stick to it. Don't go about reading all the compilations, then you will not have time for anything else. So choose your compilation and stick with it. And one more suggestion: always read Yojana and Kurukshetra. These are very important because these are government publications. You will get a lot of points, you will get a lot of statistics, you will get a lot of terminology for your mains from Yojana and Kurukshetra, especially Yojana. And again, one more suggestion: read the PIB, because again, PIB is the government source of news. What is so important about PIB, Yojana, and Kurukshetra? The importance is that these are all government outlets. So these will reflect what is important to the government. And usually, questions are asked from the current affairs based on what is important to the government at that point of time. So, if you are reading Yojana and Kurukshetra, if you are going through PIB, there is a very high chance that you will know about most of the questions. You will have a reasonable idea about all the topics being covered in the mains question paper of that particular year. So, when constructing your current affairs strategy, these things are very important. These things are like very useful. Uh, Now, another thing that many people many people have doubts is what is the focus, like how should the focus be divided between, say, current affairs and the static portion. Um, while both current affairs and static are important, I will always suggest that you first try to understand the static portion thoroughly. Make your concepts very clear. And if you have your concepts very clear, then current affairs naturally becomes easy. Because I'll tell you why. For example, in areas like, say, economics, when you first read any news related to economics in your newspaper, it will sound like gibberish, literally. You will not understand the terms. They will say things like FII has declined, foreign FII has declined, FDI has increased, stuff like that. You don't know what is foreign institutional investment, you don't know what is foreign domestic investment, you don't even know how much you don't even know what inflation is, what deflation is, everything. So unless these concepts are very clear, you will not get anything. So this is same about every aspect. Let it be science and technology, let it be geography, let it be whichever area you are talking about. Your understanding, good understanding of the uh, uh, concepts will help a great deal in your understanding of current affairs. So always try to make your static portion very clear. I am not saying that you should first study all the static portion and then go to the current affairs. No, but a good understanding in the static portions will make your current affairs much more easier and much more interesting to understand. Mm, Then one more question that generally people ask is, uh, should I study separately for prelims or and mains, or like should the study be combined? You should have heard this from a lot many other sources, but generally, I will always say, always prepare for the mains, because when you are preparing for the mains, you are also preparing for prelims. Prepare for the mains, complete your mains preparation, and the final 2 3 months you can set aside for that kind of prelims practice and things like that. If you are learning for mains, the only thing that you will require for your prelims is that you write a lot of mock exams and you will be good to go. So always learn for the mains. So these are some of the questions I thought I will address. So these are some of the general questions that we have also. So I'll try to take questions. Okay, somebody is asking from where कहाँ से आपको motivation मिला था? ठीक है, तो I already said this. Like I was working in the 2018 floods, and uh, we were working with a very dynamic officer, very dynamic IAS officer. So her work and उसकी वर्क देख के I what I felt was that okay, this is the amount of change you can bring to the life of people. ठीक है, right? If you are an officer, you can have you can literally change the lives of people, and that has inspired me a great deal. And even now, that is a principle on which I work. I keep thinking ki one day you go out, and if you are able to make changes, these are little changes, but for us these are little changes. For them it might be life changing, life altering. So if you can make positive changes in 5 lives, it's a great day. That is what I still work on. Study, how to maintain consistency in study, when someone is asking. Consistency, if you have good motivation, consistency naturally will come. But more than that, what you should do is, uh, to maintain consistency you should have a like what I used to do was I set used to set small goals. ठीक है, आप आपका syllabus को, if you look at the syllabus as a whole, it will seem like a big thing, like Himalayas it will seem. But if you start dividing it into small goals, okay, today I will study one chapter, or today I will study this many pages of this subject, or once that study is done, give yourself some reward. What I used to do was, uh, once I will study this many chapters of this subject, I will watch the next episode of my favorite web series. This I used to do, and this used to keep up the motivation. Like you are always on kind of. Is it necessary to read newspaper when mains exam is near? I will suggest that you always read the newspaper because, see, as far as mains is concerned, when if you are looking about prelims, okay, maybe if prelims is happening in May or June, they will stop. The question paper would have been prepared by March or February. तो आप if you stop reading newspaper also that is fine. But mains में क्या होता है, even if you are reading newspaper on the day of the exam, you can get some new additional point that you can include. Mains, one interesting thing about mains is that questions are very generic, ठीक है? Questions are very generalized. You can explore these questions from all angles, right? So the more knowledge you have, more content you have, your answer is going to be that better. So for mains and interview, don't stop reading the newspaper. They may have made the question earlier, but your answer will be more informative, and that will make a better answer. If you are putting a point from uh, that day's newspaper, even the examiner will be like, wow, right? So yes, static and current, how to link, I have already answered that. I talked about that already. Okay, interesting question. How is my service experience? In the last, I have been in service for now 4.5, close to 5 years. Last 4.5, 5 years, I am telling all of you very honestly, it was very satisfying. Like I just said, like on a regular day, if you are, let us say, I wake up on a day very grumpily, very angry. Somehow I am very angry, grumpy. So I am thinking I am not going to do anything good. Even if I go like that, I will be able to bring about positive changes in at least 4 or 5 lives. So if I am actually thinking that I want to make a change in as many people's lives as possible, in a day you can sometimes change tens and hundreds of lives in a positive way, and that is a very satisfying experience. So yes, so far service has been very satisfying. Uh, of course, there will be a lot of pressures, social pressure, political pressure, this, that, everything will be there. You will be pressured by your bosses also. You are constantly reviewed. Everything will be there. But even then, it is a very satisfying thing. Okay, two things. How was my interview, and what is the difference between mock interview and actual interview? My interview experience was very, again, interesting experience. I attended two interviews, like I said. In the first interview, what happened was uh, I went in. So I was not afraid or anything, not overconfident, but not afraid also. I was feeling okay. So I went in. The first question was like, you are from a literature background, so arts background. So what is the most important aspect of literature? Is it prose, poetry, fiction, non-fiction? I had a brain wave. Okay, I said, sir, the most important aspect of literature is humanity. And all the board members were hooked, like they were very interested. So I could understand it from their body language also. So I also got very confident. Okay? I became, like, you call it cocky, like I became very what you call, kind of overconfident. ठीक है तो first member chairman went well, second member also went very well, so third member was a lady, so she was from literature background, so she started asking me all these questions from English literature. uh, I thought I didn't look at English literature that way at that time, so I didn't know anything. uh, and I started saying कि मैम ये तो पता नहीं, I don't know. After some time she said कि ठीक है तो you do one thing, recite 8 lines of any poem. So I thought I couldn't remember 8 lines of any poem. Only poem I could remember was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Uh, so that will not be good also. That will be like even I knew even that in that overconfident state, I knew that telling Twinkle Twinkle Little Star will be a stupid move. So I said, ma'am, I cannot remember any 8 consecutive lines of a poem. So she was like, ठीक है आप तो PhD कर रहे हो, even then you cannot remember 8 lines of a poem. So in our time we used to remember the whole of Hamlet from the top of our head, something like that. So I also got kind of, I was very young then, honestly, I also got pissed off. I said, ma'am, education policy has changed. Abhi to you don't need to buy heart. ऐसे by rote learning is not preferred like that. So then what happened? It became an argument. So chairman suddenly said to her, "Nee, nee, chodo." And that moment I understood that okay, things are lost. Like you don't ever argue with the interview board. Like I got 165 marks that time, but all the mock interviews I was getting 200 plus. Okay, in this I got only 165 because of that argument. In my second interview, I got close to more than 200. I got something like 205, which was the top mark of that, like, very close to the top mark of that year. So yeah, so that was one interesting experience. Difference between actual interview and mock interview, there is not such a huge difference, but major difference is your own attitude. Mock interview, you always know that this is a mock interview. Actual interview, though, how many mock interviews you have attended, however many mock interviews you have attended, actual interview में और pressure तो रहेगा. Interview. Someone is asking, should interview be given in Hindi or English? You can give in any language. That is not a problem. They will not judge you based on the language in which you give your interview or any such thing. uh, from where to take content for essay. Generally, if you are reading your newspaper, if you are reading your other subjects, content for essay will automatically come, right? Because I didn't prepare specifically for essay because any content for essay will automatically come from your other studies, other GS papers, your ethics paper, everything. Multiple dimensional, how to write multiple dimension answer, I already talked about this. When you see a question, think about it from all possible. Number one, look at the question and identify the keywords. Take some time to identify keywords. Okay. Generally what happens is we are stuck on only one keyword. This should not happen. You should read the question 2 times, 3 times, identify all the keywords. Then your question should address all the keywords. And also your question should, you should think about it from all the different angles. Think about it from a social angle, political angle, economic angle, ethical angle, humanitarian, whichever angle possible, you think about it. And then if you can bring one point from each of that area, each of that angle, addressing the different keywords of the question, you will have a multi-dimensional answer. And also you will have to give examples and substantiate. If you want an example, let us say one question is there. uh, one nation, one election. Okay, one nation, one election will benefit Indian democracy and its future growth. So, if this is the question, uh, there are several keywords. You are usually stuck at the keyword one nation, one election. You start about writing this. Now, you have several keywords in this. First is, of course, one nation, one election. Second keyword is Indian democracy. This is a keyword. Very, very important keyword. Then third keyword is future. Now fourth keyword is comment. आपका फोर चार keywords हो गया. Now you should look at it from different angles. One is political angle. One nation, one election is obviously political thing. Then your social angle. How will this affect societies? As in, uh, what are the social benefits or social problems caused by this? Economic angle. There is an economic angle to this. Now, like I said, there is an ethical angle to this also. Is it ethical to hold one nation, one election? Or should we have periodical elections in different places? So, this is how you should look at it. Somebody is asking about IPS, R, and AW, raw basically. See, raw and all, as far as I know, these are all your choices. Once you come into a career, especially IPS, you can choose to go into raw, you can choose to go into IB, you can choose to go into ATS, anti-terrorism squad. All these things you can choose to go into. If you are interested, you will have opportunities, and then it is based on your skill also. Like really skilled officers grow up fast. So these are some of the interesting questions that I saw. Now if you have any other questions, you can ask. So these are some of the interesting questions we have. Where to join mentorship? You have a lot of coaching institutes. A lot of them are very good. Like I will not, obviously I will not give names, but a lot of many of the institutes are offering really good mentorship and coaching. So you can choose. You can ask veterans also, so you can choose. What is luck factor in UPSC? Someone is asking. So I will tell you, uh, there is no such thing as luck. What we call luck is actually our learning. You have read something, question is asked from that portion. It is not luck. It is basically that you have learned from that part. The harder you learn, the more material you cover, you will be able to answer more questions. That is only it. I all the time what we call as luck is only our hard work or our effort getting reflected in a different way. Like those people who work hard, those people who work smart, luck, lady luck will always be with them. So I think we've been here for more than 1 hour. So it's more than 1 hour. So I will slowly conclude the live session. Now, if any of you have any questions, you always can interact through my social media handles. Uh, and I will be more than happy to help you in any way I can. So, thank you.